symbolism to keep it, simple and give people a metaphor. Once again, symbolism is like the art form of sign language. Mm-hmm. And so it's basically speaking or communicating to somebody or transferring frequency in a nonverbal manner. And so I want to ask you now, with your eyes super wide open, mm-hmm. and someone coming down this path of film production for 20 plus years, what is the level of satanic or occultic symbolism placed in these movies? And what would you say the effect has been from your perspective, just on the general public, by us constantly refreshing our minds with film content being made by these type of people?
It is in everything that you view, one form or another. It's different expressions. It could be symbolism. It could be concepts. It takes, let me say what they do. They basically invert the truth.
Yes, sir.
And then they flip apart, which is the face of it, which is, so there's a half truth and a lie covering it in every form of it. Now, that's at least the way I see it, but the energy that's in there. So the concept is this: Nikola Tesla said, if you wish to understand the universe or the secret to the universe, it's energy, frequency, and vibration.
That's right.
So what does that mean? Well, on a practical level, okay, this is stuff you can look up. If you were to take all of your matter in your body and my matter in my body, and we were to compress all of it down at a solid state level where there was no space, all of the matter in your human body and my human body individually, it would be no bigger than the thinnest human hair, no thicker than the thinnest human hair. It would fit on the top of a pin. So what does that mean? That means that from a scientific level, you have 50 trillion cells in your body. Every human being has 50 trillion cells. There are 100 trillion atoms in each and every one of your cells.
That's right.
Those atoms have a nucleus and they have electrons. And if you scale down to that microscopic size particle, you'll see that there's space between the nucleus and the electrons, and there's a magnetic field. There's energy in that, inside the center of that, and it's vibrating.
That's right.
All right. So all that space taken out, compressed matter, all that you're seeing here, fitting no thicker than the thinnest human hair.
Right.
And what these people do is they know what we are, and they know where we are, and they have to trick you away from that through letters, numbers, symbols that resonate frequencies and colors in the symbols.
Yes, sir.
That resonate frequencies to us that change our brains. They literally change our brains. They program it, and they use entertainment. Entertainment imprints through emotion.
Yes.
These subconscious programs that go off in your brain and you sleep with at night, and then you wake up the next day as though your reality is projecting the Luciferian agenda and you don't even know it.
Boom. And that's, you know what, you just came on here and dropped a nuke. And I'm glad you did that, because I tell people all the time, the truth is universal. And one thing that I feel is used against us is our cultural differences.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize that we have extreme cultural differences, which is a good thing, but we still share a common truth. And what you just said, I promise you, I did a presentation, I think last year in Chicago, and it was called Occultic Vernacular Expression Enchantment. And I broke down letters, grammar, how grammar comes from the French word grimoire, which is a book to summon demons. How, we
spells.
Yes, spelling, spells, cursive. And it's like, I've never had this conversation with you about that till now. And we meet here. And so before I continue, I want to tell people this is why I took a shot. And I said, you know what? Let me, I'm not going to say I took a shot. I'm going to say I followed my spirit. And I said, let me venture psychologically outside my community to see if what they telling me to expect about the world is really real.
Yeah.
And I've come to the conclusion that if everybody could just respect cultural differences, we could have a pretty great planet because we all actually understand the same thing. It's just historically we have to preserve ourselves, but presently we have to exchange information to build the world. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because this interview for me is powerful, and I'm gonna save more of this build till we get to the Great Awakening section. But this interview is powerful because realistic or stereotypically, me and you should not be having a conversation, right? And I said it to you when I talked to you on the phone. Yeah. You, in the eyes of the world, you're a successful, I'm gonna just say white guy.
Go for it. No, use all the labels you want. Let's go identity politics 100%.
You're a successful white guy. You've produced movies that I can only dream of watching. I just got off parole last week. I'm self-educated. The world wouldn't want us having this conversation. But it's like you wouldn't even think that we could have it. But we can have it. And not only do we have it, I'm not going to say we dumbing it down. I don't want to disrespect nobody at home. But we're toning this down a lot. Actually go all the way up there on y'all. And so this is where we're supposed to be. We're not on here fighting and arguing about no bullshit. We on here having an intellectual conversation that can actually save your life. Because
yes, it can.
Yeah, it's the truth. Because just like we have physical detoxing or dietary detoxing, what he just said, if you pay attention, is an opportunity to what I call neurologically detox yourself. Now that you know your brain has been literally programmed, and y'all hear me say this all the time when we say program, the neurons in your brain literally reconstruct themselves to release dopamine based upon the imagery and sound you approve of. So if you don't even listen to me, if this is your first time hearing what he just said, you don't even know. He just gave you something that you can literally defend your own consciousness with till the day you die, because you're aware of it now. Yes. So the whole point of being under attack in the manner we are, and the reason that we're losing, where we were losing at the level we was losing, because we wasn't aware. So that little 2-minute, session of information he gave you can literally save you for generations to come because you're aware of it. Now, when you watch TV, you can say, what is this? What am I really watching? And what is it? What are the long-term effects? When you play that video game, that stab them up, kill them with the axe zombie video game you play. Now you can say, what are really the long-term effects of this content and in regards to which it's having on my soul, on my mind. So he really just saved y'all life. And this is why we have to destroy that. We have to destroy that. Now, we got some assholes on the planet. That's true. It's just true. Yeah. But we need to, hone in on them, identify them, and move them out the way. And people that just have higher elevated thoughts need to be the ones conversing, because we're the ones that can literally take this planet to a higher level of thought. And in order for us to connect, we have to move that obstacle out of the way. And that obstacle is mainstream media. It's, these deep state entities, as we like to call them. So I had to highlight that before we go. But continuing on, right? I know everybody want to hear about Hollywood pedophilia, but I'm not going to sit here and harp on something that we pretty much already gotten to the bottom of. And I don't want anybody to think I'm not skimming over it. But I really want to bring up topics that are not readily available to the public, because that is what's important. So the next topic is election theft. And the reason that is important is because it's only going to get crazier the closer we get to November. I want everybody to know that. If it's only going to get crazier, don't be surprised if they actually pull out that Project Bluebeam card out the back pocket and play it like and a dragon fly over your house. Do not be surprised if they play that Yu-Gi-Oh card called Project Bluebeam that they got in their back pocket. So I'm being serious. It's only going to get crazier the closer we get to November. So we want to talk about election theft. Yes. Because a lot of people, either vote and don't believe it's rigged, or they don't vote and would never know if the voting system is fair or is rigged, or how it could even become rigged.
Yeah.
So from your level of professionalism and your level of experience, could you give us some insight on what election theft may be and how it may be essentially taking place during this current 2020 election?
Okay. Well, I want to give a little bit of historical perspective. I won't go into all the details. I'll kind of give you an overview because this election theft has actually been with us for a very long time.
Yes, sir.
Now, it has, from the earliest days to now, it has taken on a whole other level. But it's the same game. It's deception. And so let's just say in the modern history, we had a primary in 2008 between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and that was election theft. He destroyed her. In 2008. But it was so close, right? Okay. In 2016, I'm just going to talk about the Democrat side with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton because I followed that. So my mind, I also have a background. I'm not a studied engineer, but my mind works like an engineer. You can do very complex building, several steps down the line. My brain just works that way. So what I was seeing in 2015 was the surge and rise in Sanders because I saw the crowds. I mean, in Wisconsin in July of 2015, he had 12,000 people. Hillary Clinton, when she launched her campaign in May of that year, only had 5,500, according to the press, at Roosevelt Island. That was the largest crowd that she had during the entire primary and election combined.
Wow.
Okay. So Bernie Sanders out fundraises her leading up to Iowa. And then it's like, she wins by a 4/10 or 3/10 of a percentage, and there's still 90 precincts left to count. And there's all these irregularities. And then Des Moines Monitor, the Des Moines Monitor or the Des Moines, whatever it was, they said there was too many questions. Wait a minute here. We don't think she should be declared the winner. Then he goes on to New Hampshire. Okay. I followed so closely this whole thing, the media narratives, how they changed from state to suit the narrative in the media. I started seeing how they smeared the Sanders campaign and depressed it. But it wasn't about Bernie Sanders, about the voters who believe, the true believers. In short, what I found was from New York to California, I took a group, 2 guys, one guy who was over in Japan, and we started downloading the real-time results as they were reported in on the website. So the websites would start adding up the votes, like you see, with 12% of the vote reporting and 25 and 50 and 75. They don't do that anymore.
Right.
There's a reason why. So we downloaded all of those results in real time, and we found hundreds of thousands of ballots or votes that were deleted between counts. We found in New York City on election night, that was April 26, 2016 in New York City, 1.3 million votes was deleted from New York City on election.